We never know where life will lead us or what may hinder us along the way. But while every day can feel like one big question mark, it doesn't have to. With the right insights, strategies, and solutions from Western and Southern Financial Group, together we can look ahead to leave the unknown behind.
Mike, I think I fell in love today.
Oh, that's a good change of pace.
I've fallen in love with Finland's prime minister.
Okay. This one. Yeah. I mean, hard not to.
Finland's prime minister, 36 years old, went out clubbing till 4 a.m., left her work phone at home, and was unreachable by text to tell her she had to go into quarantine. That is the energy I need. I need that energy. I need clubbing till 4 a.m. at 36. She's 36 years old. Yeah, young for a prime minister. But I need that don't give a fuck energy.
See, you want that until she's clubbing till 4 a.m. without you, and then you don't know where she is.
My take is, though, it's not even so much that the clubbing aspect, right? Do whatever you want. But in her position to still want to and actively club till 4 a.m. just shows the type of vigor that I need in my life. I need that level. I don't give a fuck. I need that level. Because if you're clubbing till 4 a.m., think of even just some of the smaller, minor things she's willing to do freaking in her prime minister role. Maybe club till 12 a.m., go out to bars on a Monday night. Like, that's the type of, again, I need that energy in my life. I fell in love with a Finnish prime minister.
I think we know what you're referring to.
Yeah, I think I'm glad. I'm sorry that you're not on board.
I'm not. I do not need that energy in my life. I'm a little bit older than you, though.
That's true.
I need a little bit calmer energy at this point.
31 years young, right?
Oh, yeah.
31 years young. Let's get off the Finnish prime minister and into this slate. A freaking sweet slate of games. There's a lot of really good games to talk about.
Yes.
I want to start with Steelers-Vikings. Vikings favored by 3. A lot of injuries in this game. And both these teams are like slightly on the outside looking in to make the postseason. Right now, the Steelers would be the 8th seed, so just the first team out, and the Vikings would be the 9th seed, competing for that 7th seed in the NFC. I do think this is a must-watch game, despite Ben Roethlisberger being a bottom 3 graded quarterback this year, that offense being bottom 5 in EPA per play. I still think this is a must-watch game, and a game that the Vikings should win by more than 3 at home. Yet, 70% of the cash bet on this game is on Pittsburgh. What the hell am I missing? I know Dalvin Cook is questionable. Adam Thielen ruled out. Bet all the Justin Jefferson overs. I think his total is set at 92.5 receiving yards, 7.5 receptions. Why is 70% of the cash on this game on Big Ben and this shitty-ass offense?
I mean, it's the Vikings and their shitty-ass defense.
Fair.
Is why. I mean, they're missing.
But both these defenses haven't been like exceptional this year.
I mean, which one do you trust more, though?
I trust Pittsburgh more.
I think it's a little obvious which one we trust a little bit more. Adam Thielen banged up. He's going to be out. And you saw what that offense looked like against a Lions defense with only Justin Jefferson. And so if that's the only guy you have to worry about, that's the only guy you have to worry about once Adam Thielen's out and Dalvin Cook possibly out, that could spell bad Kirk Cousins. Bad Kirk Cousins on prime time. We've seen this story before. I'm going Steelers in this one.
Really? You're going Steelers? I'm going Vikings, even with Adam Thielen out. And I know a lot of the effort or the focus for the Steelers defense will be on limiting Justin Jefferson. I think there's still enough there for the Vikings to win and cover the 3. It's just objectively, in my opinion, the better team. I think the Vikings are a better football team than the Pittsburgh Steelers with a better quarterback, a better offense. And the defenses, while Steelers have been better, are not like the Steelers are not a juggernaut, right? They rank bottom 10 in EPA per play allowed so far this year. Their offense ranks bottom 10 in EPA per play, both bottom 10 in efficiency. I like the Vikings. They should win this game. We're even with Adam Thielen now. I don't know how much the line has moved since that was announced. I kind of want to check. Does that move the line at all for Minnesota on Thursday night? No, still -3. It's out to -3.5 now, even with Thielen now. I'm riding with the line movement. I am riding with Minnesota. On to the Sunday slate. Starts off a little bit of a stinker. Falcons-Panthers.
Whoa.
Panthers favored by 2.5 with, I believe, Cam Newton starting. Joe Brady is not starting. Joe Brady fired. This offense in shambles. This is another game where I don't really understand why Carolina is favored by 2.5. I know they're at home, but the Falcons, the stability they have, and I know we talked a lot about Calvin Ridley. Stability compared to the Panthers. Panthers have been like 4 different quarterbacks. Now going to be under their second offensive play caller. Not a lot of stability on that side of the ball. The only thing stable in Carolina is their defense. Top 5 in EPA per play so far this year. This is where I see Matt Ryan, the Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts, who's been awesome this year, goes in as the dog, not only covers the 2.5, but wins. I like the Falcons to win this one.
I do not. I think the Panthers win and win big.
What?
The Falcons offense. Here's the last 4 games. Falcons offense. Last week against the Bucks. So they score 17, but one of those is a pick 6. So that's 10. Week before that, 21 against the Jags. Jags of all people. 0 against the Falcons. 3 against the Cowboys. This offense has... They're competing. They are neck and neck with the Jaguars. That game 2 weeks ago, they're competing neck and neck for the worst weapons in the NFL. I mean, with Calvin Ridley out, you have a rookie tight end is your best weapon. No offense in NFL history
and Russell Gage
has been good with a rookie tight end as their number 1 option. They are throwing out guys who are not seeing the field for the vast majority, as their number 1 receiver are not seeing the field for the vast majority of NFL teams. So that is why you're going up against the Panthers.
Cordell Patterson getting no love, by the way.
Okay, well, he's the best running back in the NFL.
Best running back in the NFL.
But, according to you, running backs, as we say, not as important. I was not going to say don't matter, but not as important. So, Panthers, I don't care if their offense is equally anemic. Their defense is still very good, and they have a lot of corners. I just don't see the Falcons being able to move the ball. It's going to be bad, Matt Ryan.
I do think that while I believe in PFF Falcons here, the difference in defense is going to be a problem because the Falcons' defense has been horrendous this year. And even if with Cam Newton and the inconsistency on offense for Carolina, it doesn't matter when you're cutting up warm butter on the other side. I think Falcons could be struggling. I'm going to stick with my pick, but you have convinced me to think about it differently. Ravens at Browns, another 2.5 point spread. Browns at home, coming off a bye, are 2.5 point favorites over the Ravens. And 77% of the cash is on Cleveland.
Yeah.
Ravens are in a bad spot. Marlon Humphrey on the injured reserve. They are banged up as hell. Lamar Jackson in this passing game is in a rut. That's obvious. Lamar Jackson admitting that they're in a bit of a rut against the blitz, under pressure, turning the ball over, fumbles, picks, all of it. Baker coming off a bye. Can we pray he's like 90% healthy, 85% healthy? And if so, I think they are the healthier team at this situation, especially when you consider the preseason injuries that the Ravens have suffered. Cleveland should win this game, and I'm backing the 77% cash for Cleveland. I like them as 2.5 point favorites. I like them to win at home. Again, it's at home. I like them more, especially if Baker can look a semblance of healthy this week.
Yeah, I already talked about how much that Marlon Humphrey injury just brings this Ravens defense to its knees. It is not going to be the same. They're not going to have the same teeth. And I think with the week off, with 2 weeks now from the last time we saw him, Baker should be at least healthier or at least dealing with his injuries in a better way. So I think you will see at least a competent Baker. And I don't think it's going to take that much of a competent Baker to shred some of the cornerbacks that the Ravens are going to be throwing out in this one.
This is a monster game for playoff implications as well. Yes. Ravens are reeling right now, currently in the 3 seed, but that's fading fast.
Yeah.
Browns are would be 11th in the AFC standings right now. They need wins like they need air to breathe. Coming off a bye, I think you have to put together a game plan at home where you can beat down on the Baltimore Ravens. I think that's the bet I'm sticking with.
And this is huge for the Browns because we talked about how Ravens have a very difficult schedule going into the end of the season here. Well, the Browns kind of do too. Everyone in the North has a difficult schedule. So they have the Ravens here this week. And then Raiders, go to the Packers, go to the Steelers, home against the Bengals. Like, there's no cupcakes here. There's no cupcakes here for any of the teams in the AFC North heading in. So it's going to be a dogfight to the end.
I think that fifth, sixth, seventh seed in the AFC is going to be, I think it could include some 9-win teams, some 8-win teams potentially. I think it's going to be.
I bet someone gets 10. I bet we get all 10-win teams in the AFC this year.
Really? All 10-win teams? I think a 9-win team sneaks in. There's going to be a lot of war of attrition in that one, especially in the North, right? If one of those whoever doesn't win the North, if any of those other teams wants to get in, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh is 6-6, Ravens obviously ahead right now. I think that if there's going to be a second or third team in the AFC North that swings it, they're going to have to probably sneak in with 9 or 10 wins with how often they play each other down the stretch. Seahawks at Texans. I put in here, and I have to fucking stop betting the Texans. I'm looking up the camera. I don't care if it's Terod Taylor, Davis Mills, David Cully, some retread lineman. I can't bet the Texans anymore. The Texans aren't good. That's fine for me to say. It's okay for me to say. The Texans aren't good. Even with the hook here, attempting better's hook at 7.5 point dogs at home. I won't do it. I am letting Russ cook. I'm betting Seattle, the objectively better team, the only team in this game, in my opinion, that should even be talked about. Texans are terrible.
I was going to say, I have no interest in actually betting this game because then that will make me want to at least follow and watch. Yeah. And I really should not be watching this.
No,
this is not,
no one should watch this game.
This is not great football.
Jamal Adams on the injured reserve.
Yeah.
Texans are already planning for 2022, 2023. Seattle's already planning for 2022, 2023. There's a couple of games on the schedule this week where it's like neither team is going to the postseason. Both teams are already looking ahead to the offseason, scouting, draft prospects and reading PFF's draft guide. This game is going to be gross. Don't bet on it so you don't have to watch it unless you live in Seattle and you're a diehard.
Yeah. If I had to bet one way, I would lean with you and go Seahawks here.
Fair enough. Raiders-Chiefs. Before we get to Raiders-Chiefs, I have to bring up X-Chair, which is such a proud sponsor of the Tailgate podcast. Working from home is more important now than ever. Optimize your home office with an X-Chair and many of our accessories to enhance your focus, productivity, energy, and comfort. Once you feel the customized support of X-Chair's patented dynamic variable lumbar, there's no going back. It's all in the LMX massage and temperature regulation, exclusively designed and made for X-Chair. With versatile comfort and extraordinary design, X-Chair fits any space. High performance, quality engineering, extreme comfort. Those are all the reasons I love my X-Chair. Now I can't wait to be at work. And sometimes, even if I'm not working, I sit in my X-Chair just to get that feeling. Go to xchairtailgate.com now. That's the letter X, chair, TAILGATE.com, or call 1-8444-X-Chair for $100 off your order. X-Chair is a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase for as low as $30 a month. xchairtailgate.com. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description below. For an office chair, I do think, I know I read that ad every week. If you do work from home, you've worked from home for a long time, right?
Yes. I mean, since I graduated
investing
college.
in a nice office chair
Worth it, every penny.
is worth every penny. If you sit in it for fucking 8-10 hours a day, I think even more important if you game, if you're a big gamer guy, I mean, you're like, not only do you work on your computer all the time, but then you're fucking out here streaming for like 16 days. Like, I think you need to be in that chair. Because I have a chair at home that like looks kind of cool. It's a green felt chair. If I sit in that thing for more than an hour, my ass is toast. Like legitimately awful. I need to bring my X chair home because like I can't sit in that chair.
Anything you'll use for long periods of time, daily, shoes, a bed, a chair.
That's hot.
Office chair.
Yeah.
You should invest good. Do not skimp out.
The first time I invested legitimately in a mattress was like, holy shit.
Because you get one body and that's going to affect your body.
I agree.
And that's
I hate to go on a tangent here, but I couldn't agree more. Raiders-Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 9 at home.
What's the Mark Freeman? One play, one life. You get one life.
You get one life. You get one life. It's a good life. Raiders-Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 9 in Arrowhead. Raiders are going to get fucking blown out. I'm thinking blown out. I think this is going to be a destructive, disastrous game for the Raiders. Last time the Chiefs played the Raiders in Vegas, they blew them out. Yeah. And I don't think the Raiders have gotten any better. The Raiders have not gotten any better. If anything, they've gotten worse. Still banged up in multiple places. I don't know if Darren Waller's going to play in this game. Offensive line's been awful. Defense has not improved. This is a game where the Chiefs, who over the last 5 weeks have the third-ranked defense in EPA per play.
Yeah, defense.
The Chiefs defense is on fire. In the last 3 games, I think they haven't allowed more than 13 points. I think this Raiders team is going to go and run into a fucking buzzsaw on both sides of the ball. Ooh. And Chiefs win, not just by 9. I think they win big.
I like the Arrowhead. I like the Raiders to cover here. I think they will have learned their lesson from the last time around.
Disagree.
In terms of, we said going into that week, that was, Chiefs, blueprint, 2 high shells all day. No one's leaving that. All of a sudden, Raiders go in there. Single high, 3/4 of their snaps, not even like attempting what everyone else has done, and get torched. Best game I think the Chiefs have had offensively all season long.
Yeah.
Now, either you adjust, which you should do, or you're not going to have a job at the end of the year, Gus Bradley. Sorry, because that's the way this is trending for your team right now. I think he's going to adjust. I think they're going to say, hey, maybe we do a little something different this time around. I think they'll limit the Chiefs because the Chiefs offense, as much as they've been winning, has not been the world beaters that we've seen at any point in the Mahomes era. Not even close. Still, they are winning now with defense. And now, while that's great, and I still think they probably win this game, winning with defense is not inspiring me to cover a 9-point spread.
I don't think it matters if they adjust or not. If they play too high and run with Dolan Leavitt and Jonathan Abram back there, Trayvon Merrick, who's been good this year but still a rookie, like they don't, even if they do switch schematically and commit more to too high looks, they putting Jonathan Abram in too high is almost as bad as putting him, like it's playing single high. like you are putting a liability in a key position. I don't think they don't have a fucking card. They don't have a trump card to play. The Chiefs offense is built to beat the Raiders defense. You talk about people building defenses and drafting to stop the Chiefs. The Chiefs have drafted to stop the Raiders defense and just completely ruin it. In Arrowhead, I think this is going to be a blowout. Chiefs blowout. Saints at Jets. 2 non-playoff teams. I don't think the Saints are sneaking back in. I think Eagles, Vikings are a way better position to get into the playoffs than the Saints. Saints are reeling. They've started Trevor Siemian this year. You got Taysom Hill in a finger stint or whatever the fuck that thing's called right now. I like the Jets as dogs. I'm running with you. You said Zach Wilson coming off the best game of his young season at home, 5.5-point dogs. It's going to be either a banged up Taysom Hill or mentally banged up Trevor Siemian in this game. The Saints, they have a better defense. I think they have better talent. I think the Jets cover that 5.5 number. I don't think they win. I think they cover the 5.5. If this number gets to 6, I even feel better about it. I think the Jets, with 2 teams with not a lot to play for, right? I don't think the Saints are getting back in the postseason and they have banged up QBs. I think the Jets cover the 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, how many points do we expect a Taysom Hill led offense with a broken finger to score? Like, I just without weapons right now at receiver, like, how much do we expect that offense to actually put up to cover a 5.5-point spread on the road? You know, like last week 17, week before that 6. Like, this offense isn't built to light up scoreboards with the personnel they have right now. Sean Payton can only do so much, and I get that their defense is very good, but like I said, I did think that Zach Wilson played the best we've seen from all year. So last week, hopefully a sign of things to come. So I will be leaning Jets here as well. I think that's a big spread.
The Saints injury report as well is pretty gross. I think there's a lot. Let me see here. I was looking at it today. Ryan Ramczyk did not participate, probably not going to play. Alvin Kamara was a full participant, which is great, and Taysom Hill was a full participant, but still, both those guys are coming off injuries. I don't love it. I don't love it for the Saints. I like them to win, but I don't like them to cover. We'll see. Jaguars at Titans. I'm betting Urban. I'm doing the grave mistake here. I'm betting Urban. I like Jags plus 8.5. The Tennessee Titans have been a bottom 8 offense in efficiency over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So much of that being injuries, right? No Julio Jones, no Derrick Henry, no A.J. Brown. They've scored only 13 points in each of the last 2 weeks. It's been bad. The Titans have been bad. Mm-hmm. And while they are a better team than the Jags, and while they will win, in my opinion, at home against Jacksonville, I think there's enough there on a low total. I think it's under 45 on a low total for the Jags to sneak in a cheeky backdoor at most. I think a cheeky backdoor on the 8.5. Trevor Lawrence by himself, I said it this week, by himself, alone, doesn't have competent coaching, competent skill players, competent offensive line, or a competent defense. Him by himself covers this 8.5.
That's a big ask. Well, here's the thing, though. This Titans defense is not, there still has dudes on the back end. Like, they still have guys that can cover these Jaguars receivers. At that point, I mean, it's not very difficult to do. Yeah. But at that point, we've seen this Jags offense and what it looks like when they are like even have good matchups on the other side of the ball. So, yeah, I think it's still going to be low scoring, but like the Jags, I think they score like 10 points. At that point, you're always going to lean. I think Titans.
I think the Jags find a way to get to 20, and that's enough to cover the number. Maybe even like 14. I think 14 could be enough to cover the number. I like the Jags.
Do you know the last time they scored 20?
When?
October 17th.
Guess the next time they scored 20 is this weekend, December 10th, whatever the hell it is, December 12th. Cowboys football team. Before we get to the Cowboys football team, going to hammer home DraftKings. Football fans, I'm sure we all love action-packed, high-scoring NFL games. We all love watching Jacksonville Jaguars. But with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any NFL team to score and can win $100 in free bets. It's that simple. A sportsbook isn't available in your state yet. You can still get in on the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet $1 on any NFL team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit, $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Saints and Jets. No. Cowboys, a football team. Dallas Cowboys are going to D.C. as 4-point favorites.
Hottest team in the NFL.
Over the Fighting Taylor Heineke's. 75% of the cash bet on this game so far, according to PFF, is on Washington. And I disagree with the nation. I disagree with the cash. CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper should be playing, should be healthy. And when you got a healthy duo there, a healthy Dak, I like the Cowboys to cover the 4 and win this game. It's a massive game, too, for the NFC East, for the NFC playoff picture. Both these teams desperately need a win. I like the Cowboys as 4-point favorites, even on the road, especially if they're healthy.
I mean, it's a much bigger game for the football team. I think Cowboys are fairly comfortably in the 1 spot now. Obviously, things change, but I think they're going to win the East. I don't think that one's really in doubt. I do like the Cowboys, though. I mean, as much as I love the way the football team's defenses come together, I don't think there's any coming together when the Cowboys are at full strength. You know, like, I don't care who you are. When they have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup out there, you're in trouble. Yeah. You know, they're going to score 25 plus points on you. So, with that being said, 4 points. Give me the Cowboys.
Let's go. Lions at Broncos. Broncos 7.5-point favorites over Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. The nation is backing Dan Campbell. 90% of the cash has been bet on the Detroit Lions, and I am riding with the nation. Give me Dan Campbell plus 7.5. Give me Detroit on the road. He is changing a team. He is changing the culture in Detroit. The Broncos have shit for a quarterback, average to below average. Their offense has been inept all season long. Defensively is where I get scared. But the Lions don't win against good defenses anyway. Jared Goff looks shit regardless of how good the defense is. It's about catching luck and finding a way to cover 7.5. 7.5 is a large number. You have the hook. You don't have to be competent, Jared Goff. You can throw 2 picks. You can throw 2 picks and still cover 7.5. That's why Jared Goff and Detroit Lions are my pick here.
I am riding as well. Should we make a kneecap joke? Should we make some kneecap jokes?
No, okay. I refuse.
Okay, I'm kidding. Biggest thing here, he'll have time against this Broncos defense.
True.
The biggest thing in recent weeks, and obviously why they end up beating the Vikings, is these tackles have been playing a lot better. Early on in the season, when you have a rookie Penei Sewell and a backup at right tackle, I'm blanking on the name right now. That was he wasn't throwing downfield because, one, he had shit for talent, but also he didn't have any time. With Taylor Decker back, Penei Sewell has been the second highest graded tackle since week 6 in all the entire NFL. He will actually, against this backups that the Broncos have been throwing out their edge position, although Bradley Chubb is back now, but he didn't really do shit against the Chiefs last week. He'll have time to throw, and that's the biggest thing. So I think give a guy time to throw, and it is the Broncos. Their secondary is very good. I think at least then you'll move the ball a little when that's the case. So I think the Lions. 7.5 is a big spread for a team that's not super explosive offensively.
The pass rush is a big piece to keep the Lions from scoring no points, right? Mm-hmm. And even as good as the secondary is, the line is 7.5. Keeping this game within 7.5 can involve some mistakes, some Patrick Surtain picks. That's fine. The Broncos offense is not going to uproot a bad Detroit Lions defense. The Broncos offense hasn't been good all season long. Giants, Chargers. This one's interesting. I think if you can get Chargers or Giants plus 10.5 now, maybe. Only because the Chargers are coming down with some COVID stuff right now. Mike Williams, not going to play this week. Chris Harris Jr., not going to play this week. Keenan Allen might not play this week due to I don't know if it's COVID or injuries. But the Chargers could be down pretty horrendous at receiving corps.
Yeah.
Now, if you do bet Giants plus 10.5, know that you're betting potentially Jake Fromm, who was signed off the practice squad recently and probably barely knows the Giants playbook. Giants are making the cross-country trip to Los Angeles. 10.5, if you bet Chargers 10.5, you're saying, I don't give a fuck if Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and everyone's out. Chargers are 10.5 points better than Jake Fromm and the Fighting Giants. which I don't think is a crazy thing to say.
Stop saying fighting, whatever. That one didn't even make sense.
That didn't even make sense. But I do think
the hapless Giants is a better way to describe them right now. I am there. I am taking the Chargers. You don't put care. Everyone except for Justin Herbert.
The fighting
COVID.
Giants.
No. A lot of guys on COVID. I mean, they do. Linval Joseph on the defense side of the ball too. That's not good. Obviously, you would like to have those guys, but if it's Jake Fromm, it's Mike Lennon. They're not winning this game. Straight up not winning this game. And it's not going to be, they're not going to move the ball offensively. And I think one of the I don't want to say underrated, but like under talked about stories this season is like Saquon Barkley is not Saquon Barkley. He just looks nothing like the guy we saw before his ACL injury. And like that happens. That's a thing that happens to like not every guy returns to form from an ACL right away. There is that, there's just a learning curve of how to use your knee again for a lot of guys, and they just don't trust it. And that is what Saquon Barkley looks like right now. And so if it is not, a competent quarterback back there, which it won't be, there's no run game to lean on. There's no backup. Oh, maybe Saquon breaks a big one. And that's not been the case this year.
This should be, I'll put this in my notes, it should be a blowout for the Chargers, even with Mike Williams, Chris Harris out. Keenan Allen is vaccinated. So if he can get some negative tests, he could play. Mike Williams and Chris Harris Jr. aren't vaccinated, so they will not play. I do think with Keenan Allen there, that's enough. That's enough for me. That's enough for me to back the Chargers minus 10.5. I'm not picking Jake Fromm. I'm not picking this Giants team on the road. I like Chargers minus 10.5. This next game is going to be one of the games of the weekend, and I think I highlighted that for multiple games.
We should go tailgate this one.
Bengals half-point favorite over the Niners. That's going to be something. Basically a pick 'em.
I'm excited for the energy down here.
And I think this might be another Bengals loss.
No, don't do it.
I faded the Bengals last time. They lost to Chargers, which in a game that I think they could have won or should have won if there weren't for some key mistakes. Jamar Chase dropping that and turning that into a pick. The red zone interception from Burrow. The fumble from Mixon. Those three right there, fucked. Mm-hmm. This week, I just don't think they match up well with San Francisco.
I agree.
15th in EPA per rush on defense. Like their run defense is not good. Their defense overall for the Bengals has been so improved this year, specifically against the pass. Chidobe Awuzie has played well. Mike Hilton has played well. Their pass rush has improved. But run defense, they're still shit. Shit in that they're average. On the other side, shit in that they're average. On the other side of the ball, San Francisco's top 5 in rushing EPA. They're one of the more efficient offenses over the last 6 weeks. This is going to be a dogfight that I don't think the Bengals are equipped to win. They got cats on that side.
Yeah.
I think San Francisco shows up in Cincinnati, post Renner AG tailgate, and body blows Cincinnati into another L, which is unfortunate. And on the other side of the ball, I wanted to add this note. Cincinnati is a good offense this year. They were top 6 in EPA per pass. They've been great throwing the football. They ranked 27th in pass rate on early downs. They don't throw the fucking football. They don't throw it enough. They need to throw the ball more. I think they're going to continue to be conservative in a game where they can't be. A game where they need to go up early and force San Francisco out of running the football. They're not. That's not going to be in the game plan. 49ers win this one.
You really laid it on thick this week, the trying to not jinx the Bengals. You really went sold the disbelief.
Exactly. Because last time I didn't sell the
disbelief. You kind of just said, oh, I'm going to go against them to try it.
Yeah. This week I'm like,
this week you sold it. So, of course, the Bengals are now going to win.
Bengals, well done. Aren't going to win.
Well done. I have to ride with the 49ers, though, too. And it's their stupid linebackers. It's like that was unfair. That was unfair.
That was aggressive.
But it's
the fighting linebackers.
Is the fact that the linebackers are still an issue. I mean, we saw it against the Jets in coverage, and you're going to be going up against a team that targets linebackers like it's their job in San Francisco. With George Kittle back, that's just where they're going to be throwing the ball consistently. So that to me is the biggest mismatch in this game.
I'm excited for this one though. It should be a good game.
I'm very excited.
If Cincinnati wants to keep this from being just like San Francisco up 10 the entire time and like never like pulling away but still like up 10 consistently, they need to throw the football, man. You have to get aggressive and try and target downfield because this pass rush for San Francisco isn't good and their secondary isn't good either. Mm-hmm. But if they try and run the ball at the 5th highest rate on early downs in the NFL, even as good as Mixon has been, it's not going to be enough because you're going to lose that dogfight. Mm-hmm. Bills at Bucks. This is going to be a freaking awesome game. Bucks at home, favored by 3. Both teams need wins. Both teams want to stay atop of their conferences. Both teams have eyes on the 1 seed. They want to be a part of the 1 seed conversation. Mm-hmm. And the Bills specifically have another team in their own division that could beat them out, and is currently the 1 seed, the Patriots. I am all in, though, on Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay a lot in this game. I think other bets that I like are the under. I think it could be a sneaky under game. Both these defenses are sick. Bills are first in EPA per rush allowed, first in EPA per pass allowed. They've been phenomenal all year long, which we didn't bring this up. That question from the journalist, did you see that? It's Mike Hyde and Jordan Poyer, where he's like, are you embarrassed by this performance where they gave up 14 points in an ugly game where you can't pull takeaways from? I think Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer had every right to be disrespected by that question. I think interjecting as a reporter and saying, are you embarrassed? So you can write in your story that they were embarrassed or whatever.
It's like, are you thinking about killing yourself?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. That was bad.
Yeah.
But the worst part of that video too was, maybe we could throw it in the podcast, but the worst part of that video too, if you haven't seen it, look it up. Just type in like Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer. You'll find it. At the end, Micah Hyde goes a little bit longer and is away from the mic, and it's like, that was just bullshit. Like, we answer your questions every week. You don't have to do that. And the reporter doubles down. He says, back in my day, players answered those kinds of questions. I was like, dude, you are a moron. That person stinks.
Well, I do love just this saying the term or phrase, in my day, refers or basically states that today is not your day. That you are past your prime. That you are not in your element. Is like, and it's basically anyone that says that is admitting that there
are very few things too,
you know?
Where if you say back in your day, they were better. There were very few things. But back in your day, it could be 10, 15, 20 years ago. What was actually better than it is now? What?
I feel like as a player, going out to bars was probably better because no one had camera phones.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. A good.
People were probably doing, like, LT was probably ripping lines off of tables and no one, not worried, you know?
And you're saying that was better? Are you a proponent of drug use?
I'm not. I'm saying for the player. For player safety.
I think there are a few things that were better back then. So saying anytime you lead off with back in my day, you're probably already fucking up. Yeah. There's not a lot of things that were better back then. There's like zero people who would rather be back then. Anyway, I like the under bet because the defenses are good. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde shouldn't be embarrassed by any performance they've had this season. But the better quarterback is only getting 3 at home. I like Tom Brady over Josh Allen. It's the biggest reason I back the Bucs.
Yeah, I like the Bucs as well. At home, full complement in secondary, whereas the Bills obviously down for Davis White the rest of the year. And I just don't think this Bills defensive line is going to get home to Brady. I mean, the offensive line for the Bucs is so good. So a lot of matchups, I believe favor the Bucs then. Give me the Bucs.
Sweet. Bears, Packers. This is a wide spread. 12.5-point favorites are the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau.
Hold your nose and take it.
Yeah, this is the hold your nose and take it. I put it in my notes. Hold your nose and take it unless you want to root. Here's the thing, too. There's been a lot of like marketing on betting lately about like, or like a lot of publicity around like, no, a lot of publicity around like betting is for entertainment. It's not to profit and all that stuff. It's not to win and shit like that. Whatever.
That's what losers say.
Take that in. Pretend you are betting for entertainment, which I do bet mostly for entertainment. When you're only betting like $5 and you're like making, you do not want to bet and root for Andy Dalton and Lambeau. Like, do you? And Justin Fields might play. Both these quarterbacks are not getting a ton of reps in practice. Like whoever plays is not going to be fully prepared to go to Lambeau and play the Green Bay Packers, who have a very good defense. Do you want to be like, yeah, I really like betting. I like entertainment. I will bet on Andy Dalton. No, you don't want to be doing that. I factor that into my bets. I'm taking Packers. I'm holding my nose. I'm taking it. They're objectively the better team. They're 12.5-point favorites for a reason. I don't see Bears winning this game, and I don't see them covering. Give me Green Bay.
Here's the tipping point. Jair Alexander designated for return.
Does that mean come back to this game?
He's back. I believe so. That is what I saw. So if he is, now if he's not, they're still covering. But if he is, they're definitely covering.
I think this is going to be gross. It's going to be a gross one.
I can't believe they didn't flex it out with a lot of the other games that are good. I mean, I get why Bears-Packers are still going to need viewership, but it might not be a fun game to watch.
No. I mean, it's the biggest spread of the week.
Yeah.
It's literally the biggest spread of the week. You know what's not a big spread? Could be a freaking awesome game. Rams at Cardinals. Rams go to Phoenix. Are they playing Phoenix? I don't think so, actually.
Tempe.
Rams go to Tempe, Arizona, to play the Cardinals. Cardinals are 2.5-point favorites at home. The defense in Arizona is playing absolutely lights out right now. Both these offenses rank first and second in EPA per play. So it's first and second in efficiency.
Glendale. Sorry.
Glendale, not Tempe. These offenses rank first and second in efficiency throwing the football. Number 6 and number 22 over the last 6 weeks, though. Cardinals 6, Rams 22. Cardinals and Cardinals fans, Cardinals Nation, I don't know what they call themselves, Flock Nation. I have been unjust in how much I've thrown support at the Cardinals this year. I've made excuses for their wins.
Yeah.
I've poured on when they've lost.
Yeah, you're a hater.
Multiple people have noticed in the YouTube comments, multiple people in my DMs, multiple people who subscribe to my OnlyFans have brought up the Arizona Cardinals.
Hey, you said the Bears could have won last week.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a weird take.
It was ridiculous. It's been ridiculous. This is your time, Flock Nation. I don't know if it's Flock Nation. I am backing the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals should win this game. And I think they should win this game by more than 3. I think they should win handedly, at home, beat down on the Los Angeles Rams. I think they are the better team.
They did last time.
They did last time.
Yeah.
Show it. You do it this week, I will stop being a dick about the Cardinals. I will join Flock Nation. And I will also begin to hammer the Los Angeles Rams late season fade because they have not been good over the last 6 weeks, offensively or defensively. I like the Cardinals. Prove it this week, Flock Nation.
Flock Nation's a Ravens slogan. I just looked it up.
God damn it. Let me look up the Cardinals slogan.
That's how much you love it.
Oh, it's Red Sea. Prove it, Red Sea.
Is it?
I think it's Red Sea.
You better look this one up.
All right,
You're really
I'll
ingratiating yourself by saying the Ravens slogan to the
Prove
Cardinals
it, Flock
fans.
Nation.
But I am differing. Maybe only to manifest.
So you're fading the Cardinals. You're not a part of Flock Nation.
Because, well, I need the Cardinals to lose so the Packers get the 1 seed. Is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a home playoff game to go to. That's what I'm trying to do. But no, I also think last time was a blowout, but you got big performances from Chase Edmonds. You got big performances from J.J. Watt. Neither guy will be playing in this upcoming game. Now, obviously, the Rams offense has not been quite the Rams offense of late, but they got their get-right game. They got their game against the Jaguars, the layup, work all the kinks out, get Odell Beckham involved in the offense the right way, and now all of a sudden, I think they got a chance. I think they win this game.
Really?
Outright.
So you're fading the Red Sea. I just looked it up and confirmed it's the Red Sea.
Fading Flock Nation and the Red Sea this week.
Love that.
Bad
Love
day
that.
to be a bird.
Well, I'm all in on the Red Sea. I might buy a Kyler Murray jersey if they blow him out. 14 plus points, I will buy a Kyler Murray jersey and wear it on the show. And apologize to the Red Sea.
To the Red Sea.
I will apologize to the Red Sea. Trivia. Quinn is incapacitated this week. Incapacitated, and we couldn't figure out technically how to get him on the show.
Yeah.
But he said he
here.
would drop the trivia questions in the Tailgate Slack channel. I haven't seen them yet, so maybe the computer's not working either. We will bank on... Oh, got it. First one. This is from Perk Angel, our king. Perk Angel, our literal king, who sends a question every single week. We should get him a fucking Kyler Murray jersey. Assuming Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb make a Pro Bowl in their careers. I think Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb might make it this year.
Ooh.
Who are the only 2 Cowboys first-round picks since 2010 to never make a Pro Bowl?
I know it already. Maurice Claiborne and Taco Charlton. It's got to be.
Wow. It is it. Wow. Did you see the questions and the answers?
That one's just...
That was hot.
I know the Cowboys draft picks. All the other ones, I mean, we got Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, all the other ones.
Morris Claiborne got a 4 on his Wonderlic.
Yeah. He showed up one year like 20 pounds too light. He came in one year like 165 pounds.
No way. Have you seen him now?
No.
He's huge.
No, you're thinking of D. Milliner.
Oh, D. Milner's the blimp?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say blimp. I'm trying to lose weight too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're a former professional athlete and still go blimp season, it's kind of tough. That's a grind.
I feel like that happens a lot though, because you don't even, when you're a professional athlete, you don't even think about working out. It's just like what you do. Like you go out and play football 2 hours a day. But so then once you stop that, you eat the same. But then it's like you have to maintain, you have to either cut back big Lee's a word, on how you eat, or you have to maintain that level of fitness, which is like damn near impossible to do if you're a normal human being.
I need to know what Morris Claiborne's up to because I know what D. Milner's up to. It's snack season. Next question. He's dropped it in. I appreciate you, Quinn. I wasn't trying to make fun of you on the incapacitated. The Heisman will be given out this Saturday to either Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud. No, it won't. Michigan edge Aiden Hutchinson. It won't. Or Pittsburgh quarterback and Kenny Pickett. It won't.
Alabama's easy. Oh, shit.
Bryce Young is going to get it.
Okay.
No, it's like not even like it's not even a fucking debate.
Yeah.
Name the last Heisman winner from each of those schools. So Alabama, last Heisman winner.
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith.
That was easy.
Ohio State, last Heisman winner.
It's going to be
One of the
Troy
QBs?
Smith. Troy Smith.
Troy Smith? Yes.
There we go.
Last Michigan winner, Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Last Pitt winner,
Oof.
Marino?
That's tough. I don't think Marino won.
Way back. Quinn's saying way back. I said Marino. I thought that was way back. Pitt.
Didn't they have like another quarterback? No, I'm not. I don't think I'm going to get Pitt. Wait. Running back. Who was the running back from Pitt? Dorset.
Dorset?
Yes, it's Dorset. There we go.
Nice. I kind of like the slack. Maybe we never bring Quinn back on this podcast again. I kind of like waiting for it. Any more questions from you, Quinn? He's typing.
This is electric.
This is electric. Oh, we got one. We got one. The last 3 quarterbacks to win the Heisman have come from the Crimson Tide. Devontae Smith, Derrick Henry.
Non-quarterbacks.
Non-quarterbacks, sorry. Devontae Smith, Derrick Henry, and Mark Ingram. Can you name the 3 before that? One of them is Charles Woodson.
Is it going to be? I mean, so one of them's going to be Reggie Bush, but he didn't win one.
So he doesn't count. Neither Charles Woodson.
Yeah. So Ingram was what, like 11, I want to say, or somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And so then before that, I mean, you got Bradford one, like right before that.
The receiver, Desmond Howard.
Desmond Howard was before Woodson, so it's
really?
all in the 2000s, all running backs. I'm going to go Ricky Williams.
Nice. Let's see. Yep.
Ron Dane,
who people think leads all college football in career rushing yards. It's actually Donald Pumphrey.
fucking worst record ever that he broke that. Just because it's just bowl games.
Yeah, I know. I only bring it up to be a dick.
Get upset about that. Okay, so it wasn't. So he didn't include Reggie Bush in that. So there's one other one. Because Reggie Bush didn't technically win one.
No, it was Reggie Bush.
Oh, it was Reggie Bush. Oh,
which is a liar.
Okay, so I got them all.
Yeah, you got them all. You're freaking sick. Any other questions from Quinnebago? That's all.
That is all.
My know your co-host question. This one's interesting. I want to have a conversation about this.
All right.
Mine's
not interesting.
Not my current celebrity crush. Because when you get into current celebrity crush, you're talking like you're kind of being gross about it because you're also still an adult. But I'm talking. What was my first celebrity crush? The first time where I saw a celebrity, I was like, ooh, I might kiss her. I think she's cute. Like as a kid,
I wish you wouldn't have just said either of those things. But
okay. What I'm trying to frame it to where it's not fucking weird.
So
you say celebrity crush now, I think it's kind of weird. It's like, yeah, I think that chick's super hot. It's like, okay, you're also an adult.
Yeah, and it's also weird if it's like, never mind. I was gonna say like, someone on like the Disney Channel. Oh, that's even more weird.
Yeah, Mike, that would be weird. That's weird regardless. All right,
I'm just saying that's weird. I'm not saying it's me. All right, so
first celebrity crush.
I'm gonna think about this a little bit. So it's probably early 2000s.
Yep.
2003, 2004.
Right in that range.
It was popular around then. Probably someone in like younger-ish. It could be weird if you were really feeling, I don't know, like
an older chick.
like an older lady at that point. Like who was that one show on ABC about all the moms and they were all cheated on their husbands? Come on. It was like named after a road or something.
I don't know, man. Who was my first celebrity crush? Desperate Housewives.
There you go.
I didn't watch
it wasn't that. It would have been weird if it was one of those though.
Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
Quinn. That might have been Quinn's first celebrity crusher.
All right, let me think. Knowing you, who was the chick from Gilmore Girls?
I don't know. I didn't watch Gilmore Girls.
Okay, well, I feel like that'd be right up your alley. I feel like you would have watched Gilmore Girls as a kid. I'll go with Jennifer Aniston.
No, she was in consideration. It was Jessica Alba.
Oh, yeah.
When she was in the first Fantastic Four.
Okay, yeah.
Came out in 2005. Smoke.
Yeah. I mean, Jessica Alba was,
she's pretty cute. I'm 11 and I'm interested.
She had like a few year period there where she was like,
oh, yeah. And I think a lot of common ones back then was Britney Spears, but I was never on that hype. I think she was overhyped. Who was yours?
Okay. My celebrity crush as a kid?
Your first celebrity, first time where you're like, yeah, I'm all in.
That's tough.
Terry Hatcher?
So it was like late 90s. I mean, I did like Britney Spears, which came out.
Yeah. Christina Aguilera was also kind of in my...
I was Spears over Aguilera, for sure, back in the day.
What about Simpson? Jay Sims? Jessica Simpson. I don't know if Jay Simpson...
I don't know. I said no clue where you're going with that. I like Jessica Simpson.
Who was your first?
Maybe like Pamela Anderson back in the day.
Yikes!
I know, not great.
Pamela Anderson looks like a foot.
That's so wrong. That's such a bad take. That's maybe worse.
I just
take
Googled
yet.
Pamela Anderson Prime. That probably should never be Googled, but no, actually she's
Pamela Anderson Prime was vastly different than.
Yeah.
I mean, she ended up getting a lot of plastic surgery, but
Can we rename the podcast
gorgeous.
episode to Austin Gale rediscovering Pamela Anderson in her prime? Because I'll tell you right now, Pamela Anderson now looks like a female version of Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
That forehead, you could land fucking
it got
plane
bad,
on.
but OG was very up there.
All right, what was your trivia
so my
question?
trivia questions are vastly different. So as you know, I struggle with protein bars. I'm like mildly addicted. There are most days when I come to the office, I have at least one. Usually I have two.
And you microwave
Immediately.
them.
And I microwave them sometimes. And it tastes
kinda-
like, but so what's the most protein bars I've had in a single day?
I'm going to think about this one. I'm going to say, oh my God, I'm not getting into the 20s. And if you respond with the 20s, I would be absolutely floored and like borderline never talk to you again. And like that poop had to have been, if you got into the 20s, that poop would have been as firm as this fucking Hydro Flask because that would have been disgusting. I will go 18.
No, it's actually not that high.
Okay.
18 would have been insane. I did 10.
10
protein bars
Why?
in one day.
Why?
So I got up to like this is actually during quarantine. And I used to belong to Costco, and I would get the Costco protein bars, and I would get them I'd buy like 100 at a time because I knew I would eat like 3 or 4 a day. And
Fuck.
so I've had to stop because I stopped buying.
Your body
altogether.
could not have been really great about it.
But I got up to 8, and I was like, I might as well just get to 10 just to say I've done 10. And I got to 8 like compulsively, just like need a protein bar. Like during quarantine was like you just like your brain raced. I don't know, it was bad. So I got up to 10 in a day, and I was like, that's when I was like, I have to stop eating protein bars. Stopped after quarantine, stopped buying them. So
That's smart.
I have a relapse every now and then. We'll be at the store, and I'll just buy a box and eat them all right there. But
That's pretty savage.
yeah.
I've
great.
never had 10 protein bars in a day. I think the most I've ever had is probably like 2.
Yeah, I've built up a pretty good tolerance though. Like most people, they really will rip apart your insides. To me, they're just they
Love
just go
that.
down.
You lead with that on first dates or anything?
Yeah, I tell girls I can rip 6
How many protein bars does
without
our-
farting once. They love
You
that.
take her out to dinner. How many protein bars have I had tonight? Sneaking them into the bathroom. All right, let's get to Mailbag. If you want to get on the Mailbag episode, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. The questions answered first are in reviews on the Apple Podcast. So you leave a 5-star review, ask a question there, and you're good to go. We'll also take questions in the Twitter DMs, but the priority are reviews because reviews help us get more podcast listeners, all that shit. Before we get into the Mailbag, though, Manscaped just launched new products, including their all-new ultra-premium body wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. It's time to give yourself, or someone who needs it, the gift of beautiful skin, hair, and balls this holiday season. Go to manscaped.com and use promo code PFF for 20% off plus free shipping. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electronic trimmer has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to reduce cuts on your nuts. It's also waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. Get 20% off. Or no, 'tis the season to load up on Manscaped products, so go get yourself, your dad, your brother, your friends, your mom's boyfriend, the best gift of all, the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Get 20% off and free shipping with code PFF at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code PFF. Clean up your nuts to make Santa fucking Claus proud this year. That's it. They closed the ad with that, and I support it. On to the mailbag. Well, before we get to the mailbag, I forgot. Let's talk about making Santa proud. Make your future children proud with life insurance. Western and Southern. Want a chance to win the ultimate game day feast, whether it's football success or financial savvy? Winning starts with asking questions. Would you like to know what it's like behind the scenes with Al on Sunday Night Football? How about a need to know for your financial future? Western and Southern is teaming up with PFF's very own Chris Collinsworth to share insights that can help put you ahead on both your fantasy and financial scoreboards. Every submission earns you a chance to win the ultimate feast to celebrate football's favorite Sunday. We'll cover your catering up to $2,500, coordinate your order from a restaurant near you, and have it delivered on February 13, 2022. And don't forget to check out the Chris Collinsworth podcast on Western Southern's Instagram for answers to the best questions each week. Submit your questions at westernsouthern.com/askchris. One more time, that is westernsouthern.com/askchris. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the link in the description below. Remember, with Western Southern, you can rest assured on game day. And now back to the podcast/interview. That was added to the read. I'm deleting that from the read. That's fucking ass. I'm not transitioning like that. And now back So the podcast / interview. No. Now back to
we're back.
And we're back. I had something off that. What is your perfect Super Bowl food? Because they talk about catering your game day feast.
I
love how they can't say Super Bowl in that read.
Wings. I mean, Hooters wings is what I used to get growing up. We always used to get.
We should do wings this year.
Yeah. Best wings in Cincinnati, Knockback Nats.
Knockback Nats.
Those are by far. So
it's one of the few things good about the city.
Wings, and then I like a veggie platter too. Super Bowl.
Wow. Protein bars?
No, protein bars not Super Bowl.
I think
snack.
okay, so you can't do wings by itself. I like a veggie platter in addition. Get ranch, get blue cheese, hot wings, light it up.
Buffalo chicken dip too.
I fucking hate buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah, you would.
Buffalo chicken dip is not good. Buffalo chicken dip.
Okay, buffalo chicken. You don't like buffalo chicken dip because it's universally agreed upon as very good.
No, that's not why I don't like it. I think it's overhyped. I think it's way overhyped. It's not that. It's like way overly tangy. I don't think buffalo chicken dip is just like, I think just tastes kind of plasticky. Oftentimes, I think there's a lot of bad buffalo chicken dip out there.
Well, that's
I think the
just
buffalo
true.
flavor overall is just like Frank's Red Hot and butter.
Yeah,
I mean, I just think that's a very cheap. It has a cheap taste to it.
I think people flock to it because of the easiness of it. It's like, just cheese and chicken.
Exactly.
So you get a lot
hot
of
sauce and butter.
Yeah, you do get rubbery chicken because people overcook the chicken by
Chicken's
cooking it
overcooked.
twice.
The hot sauce is cheap.
But it's got to be. It's very universally agreed upon as good because it is good.
I think a well executed buffalo chicken dip I can get behind. I haven't ran into one.
What's your dip? You're probably gonna do want like an artisan hummus and pita bread.
Artisan hummus.
You
I'm
probably
saying
would.
ranch, buffalo, blue cheese is fine. Doesn't have to be buffalo chicken. That's like ass, just like plasticky cheap ass.
Sounds like your Friday night.
Name the podcast that. So it's down bad as giant. So we're on to the mailbag. Mailbag now. Transition after transition. This is from Max H on Apple Podcasts. So as a down bad Giants fan, I'm desperately looking for hope. Which player or coaches on the roster would you consider cornerstones or cornerstone worthy? And which GM candidates would you pick to replace Dave Gettleman? Before, I saw this guy was down bad, and I wanted to add this layer of detail. Over 50% of their cap will be spent on Leonard Williams, James Bradbury, Kenny Galye, Adoree Jackson, Blake Martinez, and Sterling Shepard in 2022. That is a disaster. You want to look at like, how is a team doing, and they have the 5th lowest cap next year. Yeah. That's not just like, oh, that's the 5 most highest. There's the 6 highest paid players. Yeah, they're going to be a lot of money. It's like they don't have any money to spend outside of those guys, and this roster is terrible, and they're going to be picking probably inside the top 10. Yeah. This, in my opinion, is one of the worst situations in sports, and they're probably going to move on from Dave Gettleman, maybe even Joe Judge, and I don't think it's going to be an attractive job because there's a lot wrong with this roster and how it's constructed.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider like Leonard Williams, James Bradbury. They have cornerstone-esque ability, but not with those contracts. Like not with how much they are slated to pay them. You have to get out from underneath those to allocate that money elsewhere. Like $27 million for a DT that doesn't affect the pass game is a disaster.
It's a problem.
That's a disaster. So cornerstone guys, I would say offensively, Andrew Thomas, Kenny Galye, Kadarius Toney. That's what you got. I mean, like, they're probably going to have to get out from under Sterling Shepard's contract.
Maybe restructure Galladay's contract.
Hopefully, but like
probably can't.
You're too early into that one. You're going to have to live with that one for a second. Defensively, I would say Xavier McKinney, Adoree Jackson, and Dexter Lawrence.
I throw Bradbury in that tier.
Bradbury as well, but again, $22 million next year for Bradbury. You're really like Bradbury, Jabril Peppers with what he could command contract wise. I don't know, and he's not been exactly a playmaker for them on this defense next year. So those are the 6 guys I would say are cornerstones. Now, obviously, I like guys like in their secondary, like Julian Love, Darnay Holmes, Aaron Robinson. Like, you got guys to develop there. I like Azeez Ojulari. Like, you have players, but I wouldn't consider them yet cornerstones. Those first 6 are the ones I would say that's what you're building around. Everyone else is kind of liable to be replaced at this point.
I think there's some rumors, right? And we've covered them on the show that they could clean house after this year, move on from Daniel Jones, move on from Gettleman, Judge, whatever. Is it one of the is it for you one of the least attractive jobs? I mean, it is a disastrous roster that is going to need desperate help, long-term commitment to be upheaved.
It's not particularly attractive. Yeah.
All right. Bear May 3.
I was trying to think of who else is out there. What else could be out there? But I mean, you usually don't, though, take over a GM job with a good situation. That's not how it usually works. You're usually having to clean house, rebuild. So I don't think from that perspective, it's not the worst. You have picks to work with from Chicago.
Yeah.
So
2 top 10 picks potentially.
Yeah.
Bear May 3 on Apple Podcasts.
This guy gets in regularly.
What do you think about the Eagles breaking those 3 firsts into a bunch of day 2 and day 3 picks? More importantly, create some capital for next year in what looks like a high-end QB class. Also, with the Colts and Dolphins winning, it could make sense to swing more in a class with a lot of blue chippers. Before, I did the same thing that I did with the Giants. Their 2022 cap hits, all worth 50% of their salary. Darius Slay, Brandon Brooks, Javon Hargrave, Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, Brand Graham. Javon Hargrave's the only one who's even like near his peak, right? Lane Johnson's still really good. Brandon Brooks when healthy is good, but they're both on the like other side of 30.
Yeah, Brooks with his injury stacking up, he might not be there.
Like Lane Johnson's still very good for them. Yeah. Darius Slay's even still playing really well, but he's still older, right? Like this is an older roster.
Yes.
That, and I think I see it in your answer here, like breaking it up and trading back to gather more picks does make sense because they need to get young and cheap in a hurry to fit whether it's Jalen Hurts or a quarterback drafted and he's competing in that stuff.
I also think to even just, he said trade back to day 2, 3. I think you could even, if possible, finesse those into 2023 picks. Like, don't get all your draft capital into one rookie class that looks like a fairly meh rookie class. Like spread that out to next year.
Yeah.
To get 2 back-to-back years of heavy draft capital, and that turns around your franchise instead of 1 year of all rookies
Plus, and he's right that this next year's 2023 quarterback class, Stroud, Young. Yeah. I mean Stroud, give or take, but Young has been phenomenal. I think Young's going to be a guy that Bryce Young, the Heisman winner for Bama, I think is going to be a guy a lot of people are talking about as a future number 1 overall pick. And if DJ Uiagalelei ever figures his shit out, could be a guy too.
And also with some of the positions they need, whether it's linebacker, whether it's wide receiver, you can find those guys day 2, 3. So they're not 3, but like second, third round. So I am of the opinion that sitting and drafting those 3 first rounders, if you're not going to go in this quarterback class, I would recommend getting more picks out of it.
This is from TM at 211-390. Remember when I used to do that? That's my mom's name.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it again, but I think it was funny.
You pretty much did.
I missed your fake ID segment. We did run the fake ID segment last season. I like that segment too, especially as a Georgia fan. Thoughts on Jalen Carter, Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey. That name's incredible. Galye Ringo, incredible. Who are some of your top 2023 guys in general? So the fake ID segment, if you're a new listener to the Tailgate podcast, in season we would run a fake ID segment where you're an underclassman, but we're letting you into the bar because you're so talented. That's why he's highlighting some of these underclassmen for Georgia. Jalen Carter, defensive end, Brock Bowers, the tight end, Ladd McConkey, the receiver. I don't even know who Galye Ringo is. Who are some of the top 23 guys for you in general?
Yeah, so actually I screwed up and meant to go watch Galye Ringo. I'll get to him next week. Never got back and watched him. But I will say this. Jalen Carter, he might be the best defensive tackle in the country like right now of all.
Wow.
That guy is, to me, he's the best defensive tackle on that team. Obviously, there's not a great defensive tackle class coming out in the class. Brock Bowers, we had an argument in the PFF office about whether he should win the Mackey or not.
Tight end award.
Which is the tight end award. We were of the opinion, Trey McBride. Now, I'm not going to argue too much. Brock Bowers is a dude. He is the only tight end in the country, in my opinion, that can touch Michael Mayer in terms of talent. They are neck and neck in terms of receiving ability. Brock Bowers is a better athlete, a little bit undersized. He's going to get bigger. He is going to be, I would say he's athletic enough that I bet he goes first round when he does end up coming out. So big fan of his. Ladd McConkey, actually, I haven't watched either. That's on me. I was meant to go back and watch.
We got to go back and watch and 2 of the fucking best names in college football. Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, so we'll leave that one for next week.
Those are hot.
Yeah, we'll leave that. We'll leave the second half of that question for next week. That's on me.
This is from Obungaloo. We know on Apple Podcasts, we know RBs don't matter, but there are few Qs on. Here are a few Qs on them. Questions. Top 5 running backs right now. What are the most important traits? Do running backs matter more in college? And thoughts on some of the younger running backs in college, Bijan Robinson, Tank Bigsby, etc. Who are your top 5?
Okay, top 5 running backs. I think he means NFL.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, I'm going NFL because then he goes to college.
Yeah, he does. He does mean NFL.
All right.
Obungaloo, I know Obungaloo like the back of my head.
Nick Chubb. No order here. but this is the best 5. Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey. That's top 5. Now, obviously, you got injuries, whether it's with McCaffrey, now Dalvin, Derrick Henry, nature of the position, so it's fluid. But I think, assuming health, those are the top 5. Whatever order, I'm not going to do the order right now, but I will say Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt, all close to
Where's
that.
Kamara?
Kamara's close to that top 5 too. I wouldn't put him in the top 5. I don't think he has.
What about Cordell Patterson?
No, just no. All right.
I would put Kareem Hunt. I would consider Kareem Hunt over some of those guys too, for sure.
Yeah, I think Kareem Hunt and actually Alvin Kamara are very close in terms of just like skill wise, whereas like neither is a true home run hitter. Mm-hmm. But man, are they break tackles just at an elite rate. Whereas I think all the other guys in this list, I think everyone was 4.5 and below, like low 4.5 and below. McCaffrey, Dalvin
ran slow too because of like injury, right?
Yeah, but even slow for him was like, I think 4.5. All right, so most important trait, just burst is, for my money, the most important trait. Like size, burst, combination. Are you big and can you start?
You scoot.
Yeah, can you get it moving fast? Because that is what a running back has to do. They have to be from standstill and then get up to full speed as quickly as possible. So that's the biggest one. And then balance after that, which would be elusiveness, breaking tackles,
contact balance.
Contact balance. There you go. Those are the 2 most important ones. Does running back matter more in college? Yes, a lot more. And I think it's because I tried to describe this to someone a little while back, but it's like the athlete, it's the athlete gap. In college, linebackers will run 4.8s and be good college linebackers. So if you are
4.9s,
yeah, like if you are a guy who runs a 4.5 at running back and your backup runs a 4.7, like that's a big difference. Whereas in the NFL, slow linebackers run 4.7s. Mm-hmm. The gap is so much, the razor thin margin differences that blocking and the holes you get are so much more important because everyone's at somewhat similar calibers of athleticism. Whereas you can get a much bigger difference. And then also with the hash mark difference in college, you get much more space to wide sides of the field. So you are in space far more than you ever are. Oh my gosh, this went back to my R pronounce and my speech impediment that I had as a kid.
We want to talk about it?
Couldn't pronounce my R's and my L's.
Really?
Which is bad with the last name Renner.
Renner?
No, it's Wenna. Michael Wenna. I took speech till 5th grade. Pretty brutal. But I will say, Austin's over here hacking up a lung. I'm glad I can entertain you. But I will say, like, the wide hashes, you get space more. And so then that you get to showcase that athleticism also more.
I also think that athlete gap is why at college, it's not.
And defensive ends like are running 4.6s in NFL. Yeah. Like you can't break outside. Defensive ends catch you in the NFL.
In college, like it's so much more like stopping the run is not a byproduct of having a very talented defense. Where in the NFL, it's like if you have a ton of talented players on your defense, you can't stop the run. Whereas college, you have to be more concerted effort to actually stop the run because you got linebackers running 4.9s and shit.
Yeah.
Sophomore, you had one more point here.
Okay. Younger running backs, thoughts on some of them. This sophomore class is going to be a class of running backs. It's going to be the best since the McCaffrey class, right? Which was McCaffrey, Fournette, Penny, right? Not really saying much, but Chubb, I think, as well. That was a loaded one. This is going to be the best one. Since then, Deuce Vaughn, Bijan Robinson, Deuce Vaughn of Kansas State, Bijan from Texas. I think Bijan's number one in that class. He just has an all-around skill set, has shown a lot as a receiver. I really like Tank Bigsby, though, of Auburn. I think his ability to stop, start, cut on dimes is special at a guy his size. Sean Tucker from Syracuse, monster. His tweet game, monster.
No, his tweet game is monster. We went over it this week.
Michigan. I think he was the better of the 2 Michigan running backs this year and as a sophomore. And then Dwayne McBride, the sleeper to look out for, UAB. He is a dude. Big, too. I don't know how he came into UAB from day one. I think he went for, I don't think he went for over 1,000 yards, but he had a big freshman year, was one of the highest grade running backs in the country as a true freshman, and like 5'11", 215. Like this was not a, I don't know how he ended up at UAB. It was a 3-star and looks like one of the best running backs in the country already. So that's your sophomore class. And like I said, it's a lot better than this year.
This is from Soccer for Life 10009 on Apple Podcasts. I love that segment on running backs too. We rarely get that opportunity. Yeah. Why isn't Myles Garrett a runaway favorite for Defensive Player of the Year? I was going to get on my soapbox here. You want to look at Defensive Player of the Year? Go to Google who leads the NFL in sacks. That's it. That's it. Yeah. That's literally what's the conversation. Who leads the NFL in sacks? You're like, okay, I wonder who's going to win. Oh, TJ Watt by 2. Who's the favorite to win fucking Defensive Player of the Year? TJ Watt. Like that. That's it. That's literally all the award has become. Who leads the NFL in sacks or picks?
Don't say has become, because that's never been. It's always been.
Okay, sorry. It has become.
Yeah.
That's what the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award is. It is. They don't look at pressures. They don't look at efficiency. They don't look at anything. It's like sacks and tackles.
Pressures, efficiency. They don't look at the games. Go look at the games.
It's literally just sacks. So any questions on why isn't this person being talked about? Aaron Donald is not even top 5. And he's arguably a top player in the NFL, not the top defensive player. Yeah, it's disastrous. The defensive player of the year, the defensive player of the year award is a disaster. It's a disaster. Yeah. TJ Watt has 2 more sacks than Myles Garrett. That's why he's the favorite. Case in point. That's it. Do you have an answer to that question?
Good answer.
Do you have an answer to that question?
No, good answer.
All right. Cam Douglas, 06 on Apple. What should the Bears do in the draft and free agency? These are my favorite questions. What should your team do in the draft and free agency? Those we can actually answer. Why isn't this player winning Defensive Player of the Year? It's because he doesn't have enough fucking sacks every single time. I put in here, I did that same thing I did with the Eagles and Giants. Their 2022 biggest cap hits. Khalil Mack is worth 22% of their cap next year. That's insane. It's almost that's fucking 20 players. Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, Eddie Jackson, Cody Whitehair, Eddie Goldman, and Nick Foles make up, I think, close to 55% of their cap. So you got to make some moves, right? Goldman, Foles, not having the impact that you probably want them to have on this team to be as highly paid as they are. Khalil Mack needs to get healthy. Quinn is great when he's on the football field. Eddie Jackson too.
Yeah.
But then you're also paying a lot of low value positions. Backup quarterback, 2 interior linemen, so interior offensive lineman, interior defensive lineman, safety, which is still another position that doesn't have the impact they need, and then 2 pass rushers that one can't stay healthy right now. They're in a bad spot from that perspective, but I don't know if they need a complete reset.
Yeah, this isn't a teardown. I wouldn't say that at all. I'm not going out and cutting a ton of players. I do think, though, you need to reallocate dollars to, one, not the quarterback position, not Nick Foles, not Andy Dalton, and 2, to this offensive line. They got to pay James Daniels in free agency. I don't think it'll cost too much. He's still only 24 years old. His best football is going to be ahead of him. I think you got to keep some continuity on that offensive line. And then if you are going to go shell out some money, and they will have some cap space. I mean, they have $44 million right now as it stands without cutting or releasing any guy or restructuring any guy right now. I would go after one of the tackles. You got to shore up this tackle position. You have to get, and obviously you'll get Tevin Jenkins back. That will help. I say keep him at right tackle. It's where he played at Oklahoma State. Go sign either Tron Armstead or Eric Fisher if they're available.
That's fair.
Is where I would put my money. One offensive lineman, and I think that's kind of it in free agency. You would love wide receiver help. Are you going to go out the track record of going out and spending big for wide receiver? It's not all it's cracked up to be. I think that you could either address in the draft. I mean, maybe re-sign Allen Robinson. Obviously that's a 2-way street though. He may want to go elsewhere. So in the draft though, when it comes to the draft, I just don't think be major players, and especially don't go throwing money to the defensive side of the ball. Still, you need to help Justin Fields. And so if you do want to spend more money on the offense, I would look for either to trade Robert Quinn or release him, because you have Travis Gibson there playing fairly well.
Yeah.
Who could develop behind him for $17 million a year for the next few years. Robert Quinn's been good. He's not been quite that good, and his injury history still scary. So that's what I would do in the draft. I think an ideal draft for them would look, now it depends on who your defense coordinator is, what the defense is going to look like next year, because let's be honest, coach staff doesn't look like it's going to stay intact. But the way is going, they're probably going to hire a defense coordinator in Vic Fangio mold, in the new too high mold. If that's the case, pairing Eddie Jackson with Daxton Hill from Michigan, the safety, would be awesome to me. Like the speed, the range that they would have in the back end is what you want for modern defenses, in my opinion. And then Max Mitchell, the Louisiana offensive lineman, a versatile guy who can play tackle or guard for you, could, I think, go a long way with this offensive line, the injuries they've had.
That's hot. You just rebuilt the entire Bears.
There you go. Bears
you should get the job. You should get the job. This is from B. Wayne on Apple Podcasts. He mentions your guy, Max Mitchell from Louisiana, also a friend of the show. PFF's #1 graded tackle and friend of the pod. He knew it. B. Wayne's a freaking lifelong listener. Rate compared. Where does Max Mitchell rate compared to the other top tackles in his draft class? Does he project as an NFL starter?
79th on the PFF draft board.
Not bad.
Which
could be a second rounder.
That's
maybe.
That's not immediate starter projection, but again, he's a guy who Senior Bowl will be massive for him. He's going to the Senior Bowl, and that will, with his competition level, with the edge rushers he saw this year, and Texas being like the game tape to go back to for edge rushers, and Texas doesn't have great edge rushers, but that's the game tape to go back to. The Senior Bowl is going to be huge for him. So I really do like him as a prospect. I think he could raise his stock a ton there.
This is from Jaron Benton with like 7 N's. This is a long one. I had my AirPods on noise canceling during my wife's first ultrasound so that I could listen to this podcast.
Great start to the review.
Listening to this podcast feels like your best friend's mom telling you she always thought you were the handsomest boy her son would bring over drinks. Listening to anyone
Sounds like this guy had an older woman first crush.
I love this guy. I'm in love with Jaron Benton. Listening to anyone say something even remotely positive about Notre Dame makes me want to burst my own eardrums. I love that. And he still loves this show, despite you being a homer with Brady Quinn. What are each of your top 5 played in the wrong era lists? I'm a huge fan of Santana Moss and always felt he was wasted on my NFL team, especially watching the guys now. If possible, please do not include players who are already Hall of Famers or were already considered among the best at their time. That's fair. Let's hear the guys who truly suffered at the hands of Father Time. Also, Prime is good. Prime is a good coach? ? Yeah, he did well for Jackson State. Then Austin genuinely struck me as I watched every XXL freestyle in middle school and had his ringtone as Vans by the Pack. So I'm genuinely shocked he didn't reference Behind the Same. I did not. No, I did not.
You were into heavy metal, right?
I was a heavy metal guy.
All right, so I have two. I put together 2 teams. So I obviously didn't watch football until I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I watched football in the 90s, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on for the most part. I remember we got a new TV for the Packers Super Bowl against the Patriots, and I barely I don't even remember watching. They won, but I early 2000s when I actually remember quality of players, how good these. So I'm gonna say guys in the early 2000s who would be better now, who would excel more now, and guys who now would have been names 30 years ago, 1990, way back when. So I'm going to go with guys who, so this is the 2000s players who'd be better now. Santana Moss, he mentioned him. I have said this one before. He got the comp for Henry Ruggs. I think
he's so skinny.
And I think, just the size. He was thrown as an X outside wide receiver in an era where cornerbacks could beat the shit out of you. Yeah. And that was not his skill set. So he was a speed demon with the ball in his hands. The RPO game and screens, he would have killed. He would have been Jalen Waddle, what he's doing in the Dolphins offense right now. That would have looked like Santana Moss. Next one here, work done.
Great call.
Work done with more space to work is dynamic. I mean, he was
sick.
Yeah.
Splitting carries with TJ Duckett back then. Yeah. Duckett was also a fun player.
Yeah. But work done was a 4.28 guy coming out of Florida State at 5'8", 176, and still went for over 1,000 yards in 4 seasons back in the day when that never happened for backs that size. He would have been in today's game. I mean, it would have been, he had very good hands. He would have been used as a receiver a lot more and was used as a receiver a lot back then, but he would have been awesome in today's game. Obviously, Michael Vick. I mean, he was the quintessential play in the wrong era. They ran the most basic options with him back in the day, and it was brutal to watch. With the real running game, the way it's schemed up now with the quarterback as a threat, he would have been a terror even more than he was. Cameron Wake, and now why I say Cameron Wake, and now obviously he ended up turning into a good NFL career, but It's because he had to spend a few years not even playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
Had to go to the CFL first to even make it because he was a 240-pound edge rusher back when that was a rarity, when people didn't want to see those in the NFL in the mid to early 2000s. So had to go to the CFL, prove himself, comes back. He gets a look in a training camp right out the gate, at least makes a roster nowadays, and then has a much more successful NFL career. Is not coming off the field the way he was. Like if Yannick Ngakoue can be an every down player, Cameron Wake is going to be in this day and age. And then I think there's two linebackers that I want to include here. One is Carlos Dansby, because he was one of the best coverage linebackers in the mid to late 2000s, and never really got his due because he didn't rack up tackles in the run game, was not that type of player, but he would have been much more respected nowadays because of that. And then Jonathan Vilma as well. He was a 4.5s guy, exceptional sideline speed, but was like 230 in an era where not a lot of linebackers were 230. So he would get picked on in the run game, but Jonathan Vilma would have been a lot better today.
I think for the first three, right? Even Cameron, it's like skinnier guy, like
just
skinnier,
size,
more athletic. Yeah,
athletic.
Skinnier, more athletic guys that were playing at a time where like linebackers were like 255, 260.
Yeah.
It's like getting them in today's age where everyone's skinnier and faster and more athletic, I think makes sense. Then you want to go reverse era.
All right, reverse era. A.J. Dillon is like the first one that comes to mind. A.J. Dillon at 250, 6 foot. I mean, he would have been...
People would have talked about him like Bo Jackson.
Yeah, not to that degree, but he would have been like a 350 carry guy back 30 years ago, and rightfully so. Chase Claypool, I think, with his size at the receiver position, when like a lot of slower corners played back in the day and a lot more physical ones, like he wouldn't have had the physical stuff at 235 pounds would not have mattered to him, and he would be cooking downfield against the guys that he would have faced back in the 90s, 80s, whatever. Claypool, I think, would have been far better suited for that day and age. Jonathan Abram, I put here, but I'm not sure I like that because I'm not sure Jonathan Abram really succeeds in any era. So I think the guy I really want to say is Isaiah Simmons for a safety position, because Isaiah Simmons, yeah, he's good for today's day and age, but he's a linebacker nowadays.
Yeah.
And he has to take on blocks, and that's not his strength. If he was just a guy who could be sort of taken out, he is just your strong safety. He's just the guy who is the add-on defender and could just run. That's, I think, the ideal role for him, because his speed at that size, like you see him when he tracks ball carriers in space, it's insane. But he's not asked to do that enough, in my opinion. Or like if he was just asked to do that, like he could have been back in the day, would have been a monster. Cameron Hayward for the Steelers. I mean, he gets some due now, but like 3-4 defensive ends back then had Richard Seymour was like a household name because those guys made impacts. Yeah, those guys matter. Those guys were just featured more. Cameron Hayward is your quintessential 3-4 defensive end. He would have been a monster back then. And then the last one here, Denzel Perriman, your hitter at linebacker. I mean, just rocks people up, and a monster in the running game, exposed routinely in coverage. Yeah. But
he's going to make a Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah, probably, because he's the only one that wants to play run defense to that team.
His tape at Miami was incredible. Denzel Perriman Perriman coming out, dude, was a monster. People were comparing him to Ray Lewis coming out. Last one here from Todd is Boy. Todd is Boy on Apple. How does Evan Neal, the Alabama offensive tackle, compare to top tackle prospects in recent years, such as Tristan Wirfs and Penei Sewell? You're not going to put Neal in that Sewell tier?
No, I think he's comfortably behind Sewell. I think he's even behind Thomas and Wirfs to me.
Really?
I think he's more like Jedrick Wills coming out, where it's like this guy's a high-end athlete. Up there, I mean, high-end physical tools. It'll be very it will work out, but like Thomas and Wirfs were already very adept with their hand usage, very adept in a lot of different ways that I would not say Evan Neal quite is. Like just like from a grading perspective, they were far and away higher than him their final years of college. And now Neal's played 3 different positions. That was not the case for Wirfs and Thomas. And obviously Thomas comes out and struggles year one, but I'll say comfortably behind Sewell, a little bit behind Thomas and Wirfs, Jedrick Wills tier.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Putting anyone in a Wirfs tier right now feels stupid.
Yeah,
I think Wirfs is a unicorn. That's going to do it for this week's podcast. An absolutely phenomenal podcast. Mailbag, trivia, some first celebrity crushes, some hot stuff there. Until next time, make sure you tune in, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Also, subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to the PFF YouTube channel. Give a fuck about the show. Next time, Austin Gale, Mike Renner, Tailgate. Now joining the Tailgate podcast is current Illinois safety Kerby Joseph. Kerby, we're talking a little bit before we started recording. You're back home in Florida finally. That's awesome to hear, man.
Yeah, man, back in the Sunshine State, man. I ain't even gonna lie, like when I crossed the state line, I took the sunroof off and just let the sun just hit
Let's go. I'm from Oakland, California. I don't get a chance to go to California enough, but I'm now based in Cincinnati, Ohio. So right in the Midwest. I know how it feels, man. I know how terrible the cold weather, snowy winters can be. So that's awesome that you're back in Florida. Don't want to spend too much time on your family and stuff like that. Where I'd really like to take off, man, is just how good this season was for you at Illinois. For people who don't watch enough Illinois football, Kerby Joseph has been one of the more impressive players on that defense. And you've been a guy, too, that has improved every single year of your career there at Illinois. 90.4 PFF grade this past year, playing over 700 defensive snaps, over 300 for the first time in your career. What all went into this breakout season? I know that's like a monster question, and I'm sure you could say 1,000 things, but did it feel like a breakout season for you? And I guess, what do you feel like all went into it?
Honestly, I feel like what came into it is like just a switch of my mentality. Like, I just, like you said, like I played like little bits and parts at Illinois, and I feel like I just used those parts from my experience because, like I had to sit down and talk with myself, you know, times when you got to look in the mirror and just talk to yourself. And I told myself, I was like, I'm tired of being average. Like, I'm tired of being average. Like I remember, like I would see like you know, usually like plays that would happen that usually people miss. I want to be that 1% that makes that play. You feel me? Because I was tired of being average, and it was just like something just clicked in my head, and it was just like, you know, I don't be great, and it's fairly easy to be it's easy to be great, but it's hard to do the. The steps I had to take, I had to really lock in, like get from average to beyond average or even great, or whatever you want to say.
You broke up a little bit there, but I think you hit on some really good points. I think being good or average is easy and can come very easy, but getting to that next level, going from good to great, being that like great player that you want to be, I think takes some internal discipline, but also just showing up. And I think you've obviously done that. You know, named to the first team All Big Ten. You have been very impressive for Illinois. But you know, putting this season behind you a little bit, what are your goals now? I know you want to spend time with family, but what are your goals going into this offseason, right? How do you build off of this insane season for Illinois and take, again, your game to another step?
Honestly, just learning from the experience that I get. Like every time I go through something, I learn from it, whether it's like a win or a loss. Like I learn from it either way because I always want to get better. You feel my drive is to get better because I don't feel like I'm at my peak yet. Like I feel like I'm just naturally hungry. So like,
I just want to be the best there is ever, honestly. Yeah. So like, in order for me to get like that, I gotta train like the best. I gotta eat like the best. I gotta sleep like the best. I gotta do things like the best. Like I gotta just do everything that I possibly can.
That's awesome, man. I couldn't agree more, man. To be the best, you got to train like the best, eat like the best, sleep like the best. It couldn't be truer words, my friend. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is your relationship with Coach Bielema, defensive guy. He's been on this podcast before. He has an energy, a pull about him that I do think that players have kind of flocked to, and he's kind of been a big part of a change in culture there at Illinois. How much has your relationship with Bielema grown over the course of the season, and also what is it right now?
Honestly, with Coach B, I feel like I was able to understand the game more. Like never have I ever like had football 101. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like that's what Coach B introduced, not even only to me, but to the whole team. To the whole team, it was just like football 101. Like he taught us like the basics, and then that really led to me understanding the game even more, like the game speed, like what are certain teams' motives, or like on certain downs, or like what. Like he taught us what a waist down was. So like usually usually teams want to take shots on ways down because they can, you know. And so like usually that time that's where I make my money. Like you want to go ahead and take a shot. Like, all right, now it's my time to shine. You feel me? So that's really what my relationship with him. Like honestly, he was just a great coach. He I ain't like he's a coach. He's a coach that he's your head football coach, but he also cares about your well-being. You feel me? Like he takes care. Not even on like the people that are playing, like people that are not playing. He makes sure that everybody on the team is treated equally. You feel me? Like there's no favorite, no nothing. He just makes sure that everything is done right and like done the right way. So like that like he installed be the best you. You feel me? Like on the field and off the field, and that really stuck with me because like that's like development as a man, not only as a player but like as a man because. Football teaches you a lot of things on the field, but it also teaches you a lot of stuff off the field. So I feel like that's like one of the relationships I have with Coach B. That like he's like a mentor to me. Like I actually genuinely want to learn from him. Like I used to in the season I'll go in his office and just talk ball, just learn about my performance, what ways I could get better. So like that's just someone who was there that has my best interest at heart.
That's fucking awesome, man. Because him on this show, I felt really impressed with like the way he carries himself, and to hear that show up with the players like yourself that are obviously improving so much. I think that's awesome to hear. We were at Illinois-Nebraska week 0 and that big win. That was awesome, and we got a tour of the facility. How much are you on that bowling thing? They have a fucking bowling alley right inside the stadium. How often are you playing bowling? Who are some of the best bowlers at Illinois? I need to know all the stories there.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, we be in there really. Sometimes we be using it so much that it'll like stop working. So like they have to come fix it and stuff. But I say, everybody from Florida. Yep.
Yeah, that's represent.
Everybody from Florida, we all can bowl and stuff like that. I actually remember Coach B taking us to having a bowling event. So see who's actually the best bowler. I forgot who won, but I know I didn't win. So
any perfect 300s on that alley yet, or is there no one at that good?
Oh no! I don't think we got no like that.
No super bowlers.
Yeah, no super bowlers.
You see some people throwing 300, you might have to take the pads off and go fucking bowl professionally. That's some crazy. Yeah. You have to be doing it all the time. That's amazing. Cool, man. Well, I really appreciate you opening up on B, too. I think Coach Bielema is such an awesome piece to that program, and to hear the impact that he's having is phenomenal. Getting more kind of to this offseason, are there any specific areas – I know you want to eat better and all that stuff, but are there any specific areas of your game that you want to improve specifically over the course of this offseason? Maybe spend more time in the film room studying, watching NFL tape, your own tape? I guess I would love to hear more of the technical side on where you feel like your game can improve.
I would generally say like what I'm planning on doing is just making my weaknesses my strengths. Like you said, like I know you said this, but I was just put it like a lot of people. I would say like I wanna like increase my size, honestly, and then my field of vision I want to increase, and I would say like just. I honestly want more dog in me. Like I got dog, but I want more of a dog mentality. Like I'm always up for like being dominant. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I say like tackling. You can always get better at tackling. So I put down on my list. I want to get better at tackling. I want to become more physical. Well, I'm not want to, but I want to. I need to become more physical.
Yeah. I think that where that shows up too is just reps, right? Like being comfortable hitting at a certain power, being comfortable tackling, and getting more reps and more opportunities doing that. I know watching your film, there are a handful of runs where you come downhill pretty fast, taking on some outside runs, being the first to contact. I think you have a lot of that dog in you already, but there's no shame in trying to add more dog to it. But I think where some of your most impressive plays on tape for me, and I think you kind of mentioned this on the waist downs, is limiting the big play. And when you play as much deep safety as you do at Illinois, something that's so impressive is that that you never let them get you over the top, and they never let you beat deep. Keep things in front of you, play the speed game and all that stuff. I think your football IQ has improved so much, and you limiting the big play has improved so much in the time that you've had at Illinois. So it's been impressive tape to watch for sure. Do you ever have time to watch tape on NFL guys? Is that something you do in the offseason? If so, are there some safeties that you really like in the NFL that you want to cater your game after?
Really, this is my mentality behind that. I honestly, I watch the safeties, but I don't watch them so I can be them. I watch them so I can be better than them because I want to be the best.
Yeah.
I want to be the best. So I look at the upsides, but I also look at the downsides and see like what stuff that maybe I can improve on so I can be better than that person.
Mm-hmm.
Or like maybe he thought a route was coming this way. I got to see why he thought that route was coming this way. So when I see that route, then I'll be able to break on it and I can make the play because that's what I want.
Got one more question for you and let you go, Kerby. I really appreciate the time. Something that I've seen again on your tape, and I feel you'll take to this as well, is that you've become a leader on this team, a leader on that side of the ball, a leader on this team, and I'm sure that shows up on and off the field. Can you speak to your leadership style or what you've done to step into that leadership role for Illinois?
I would say honestly, it just came down to like my past. In the past, Illinois hasn't been doing as what we wanted to. So like the past people like Galye Harden, like he really stuck out to me. Mm-hmm. Like even Jake Hansen, like he installed like many stuff in my head. It's just like if you honestly want to win and you also honestly want to be great, you got to make sure the people around you are great. Yeah. So if one of my teammates don't know what's going on, then it's my job to make sure that he knows what's going on and make sure he's right because that team is gonna find that one fish. You feel me? And I don't want none of my to be that one fish. So I'm gonna make sure that person knows what we're going on before the game even starts, so we can all be on the same page. Because when we're on the same page, nobody can beat us.
I think that's a phenomenal mentality, right? Like if you want to be the best, everyone around you has to be the best. You can't do anything by yourself, especially not in football. I think that's something that all leaders in this game should take to heart. Kerby, this was fucking awesome. I really appreciate you jumping on the show and joining this podcast. I wish you the best of times with your family down there in Florida, and I wish you a fantastic offseason. Thanks again.
All right, thank you too. Thanks for having me.